So it's a beautiful sunny day today. Amazing, amazing sunshine coming through the window. So I wanted to show you some of my journaling stuff. This actually is an old journal, and I just love having big notebooks. This one's one of my favorites, and I just love having sort of inspiring empty new notebooks to start. This one I did fill up a lot. Some of it was just with poems and little bits of lyrics. This started out as a lyric that related to a teacher at school. Sometimes I just put in quotes if I find a quote that's really inspiring. Sometimes I've had, because I've moved house a lot, there are things I used to have on my wall that I took down and put into my notebook so that I wouldn't lose them. So little pictures like that ended up in my journal. I particularly like this one because it's plain pages, but actually if you look closely, it's got little dots that mean you could have it as lines if you wanted to. I don't know how well you can see this because the sun is actually really strong today, which is a miracle. It's really rather marvellous. So anyway, that's one journal. This one is a really special kind of journal. It's a book, essentially, by a well-known comedian from the UK called Dawn French. And she's put this sort of book together so that you fill in things alongside stuff that she's written about her. So this is really lovely. Like, there's little illustrations and bits of her handwriting, and then she encouraged us to sort of write in details, you know, about yourself. So I put in a picture of the time, around the time that my new book was first published, and I got the first copies from CreateSpace back, so that was really exciting. So I filled in my personal details here. And then the sort of writing that she's sort of put in where she's described things about her life and her thoughts about the beginning of the year, or her thoughts about winter. So there's lots of different things that she's written about. But she sort of just has little sections where, having read her thoughts on some of those things, you can then fill in your own ideas. I've underlined stuff that I like. This one, for example, 4 people who, when you first met, you didn't realise would become so important to you. That was a fun one to fill in, and she's been very kind of funny about it, obviously, being a comedian, so she's written some amusing things. So I attempted to do the same. So that's that book. Then I have another journal that I just recently got because I'm working on a specific project and I wanted to have a book for that. I don't normally like lined notebooks, but I did like the fact that it had some bright orange, neon orange to go with it, and it's kind of actually a silvery sort of finish, if you can see that. And then this one is one I got in Barnes & Noble ages ago when I was last in New York. And I've put all sorts of things in here, but mostly sort of, it's always like a diary entries, really. It's like my morning pages I've written in here, really. But I've also collected some quotes that I liked and wrote them in here, and I tried to sort of divide this whole thing up into sections so that I could keep these quotes separately. So yeah, so that's just a little overview of my journals.